What's going on, guys? This is your boy Moto MMA, aka Jason Boss, bringing you another video. If you could, please continue to comment, like, subscribe, all that. I greatly appreciate it. So I'm going to do something a little different today. As you know, the channel is called Moto MMA, so I'm going to bring this back to a little bit of the MMA segments, guys. So you are considering being a MMA fighter, a boxer, a Muay Thai fighter, jiu-jitsu guy, any of that kind of stuff. What do you need to do to get your career off the ground, and what kind of stuff would you need? So I'm just doing this video really just off the cuff, guys. I didn't write no script, nothing like that. I'm just going to give you, from my perspective. I have fought before. I stayed amateur, guys. I wasn't, no world, like champion in the UFC and all this kind of stuff. I'm just the old guy, that has experience that can definitely tell you, the younger generation, what you need to do so you can be more successful than I ever was. So, number one, guys, I'm going to say you're going to need money, okay? A lot of times, gyms and stuff don't like to talk about this, but you're going to need money, guys. If you're going to get into an MMA gym, a boxing gym, anything like that, there are usually dues. There's monthly fees, that go along with it. And you want to make sure that either if you're still staying home with mom and dad, that you discuss it with them and that mom and dad is down to pay the fees. Or if you're a grown man, you need to make sure that you are able to hold and maintain a job, so that way you can get your training, in the way you need to, or pay for your training ahead of time. Whatever it is, guys, you're going to need money. A lot of gyms, I would say MMA gyms, you're going to need a set amount of gear usually for the average MMA gym. You're going to need wraps, mouth guards, shin guards, boxing gloves, and the MMA striking gloves. So all of that's going to cost money. For boxing, you're usually going to need boxing gloves, wraps, mouthpiece, maybe even the appropriate type of ring shoes, and maybe even the appropriate type of shorts. I don't think you will need the ring shoes and the shorts maybe like right away, but I know you're going to need the mouthpiece, the wraps, and the boxing gloves. So you're going to have money for that. And on the MMA gym side too, you're also going to need a gi. You're going to need a gi for the jiu-jitsu class. You're going to need a gi if you just want to do just jiu-jitsu. You want to be a jiu-jitsu fighter, you know what I mean? Plus the startup fee, okay? A lot of boxing gyms, I will say, are usually a little bit cheaper. On average, you can start them for $20, $25, sometimes $50 a month, whatever have you. Or you can go to some places that just have volunteer, classes, stuff like that. Sometimes boxing, you can get into a little bit cheaper. But I will say, on average, if they're running at $20, $25, they may say, okay, it's $25 to join plus another $20, $25 for your boxing gloves and your mouthpiece, which is like another $50. And if you get into a gym for just $50, that's a steal on the boxing end, because for really good boxing gloves alone, guys, for really decent boxing gloves, you're paying $50. And I'm not saying like top of the line. I'm saying like, got them at Walmart. Guys, my shoulder is killing me. I got stung by a wasp on the way here, and man, it hurts being a baby. But yeah, so you're going to need at least $50. Now on the MMA side, now guys, because like I said, you need a little bit more. You're going to need those shin guards. You're going to need the boxing gloves. You're going to need the mouthpiece. You're going to need the gi, and they may also have the MMA striking gloves. You might get out of there, I say, like $200 at the cheap end, guys. And that's a decent deal. Like I say, if you get a gym that says $200 to sign you up, get you some of your gear, even if they only supply the gi, that's still a decent deal. If they supply the gi and the boxing gloves, that's an even better deal. So you're going to need some money. Now, like I said, that $200 may not be $200 a month to start, but it might be $50, $60 a month, something like that, to get going. And if you want to be a good fighter, or the boxing gym like $20, $25, you want to be a good fighter, the best way to do it is to be, the number two thing is to be dedication. You're going to need dedication. So therefore, you're going to need the money so you can be dedicated, because you need to be training on average 3 to 4 days a week. Anything less than that is unacceptable. In my opinion, you need to be training at least 4 to 5 days a week, especially if you want to take it to the next level. If you're going to be a boxer, you need to be there not only on technique classes, because this is the problem, okay, guys? A lot of people don't want to get in there and spar. You got to be there on sparring days so that way you can get used to getting hit. You can develop using your technique under pressure. That's the main thing. What will you do when someone is trying to punch or kick or knee you or elbow you, or whatever in the face? You need to be there when it's under pressure. That's the same thing with MMA. You need to be there on the nights that they teach boxing and Muay Thai. You need to be there for those classes so you can get that pressure. A lot of times, jujitsu, I love it, awesome sport, but it provides a little bit of comfort for people because jujitsu is more of the wrestling, because in some MMA gyms you do have wrestling separate along with jujitsu, but make sure you do get both because you're gonna need to know how to take someone down and stop takedowns. You know what I mean, for your jujitsu to be good. But a lot of time people like that part because even though you're getting choked and you have the different techniques of the arm bars and the knee bars and the this and this and that, they feel like it's a little bit safer because the number one thing that we are afraid of as people is really getting hit. I mean, that's because we've had that since we were a child. We kind of had that instinct of, I don't want to get hit. So you can be the best jujitsu fighter in the world, but if you're not prepared to get hit, you are not prepared for a fight. And that's just how it is. I believe that hands down. I know a lot of people say, no, that's not true. You don't ever have to take strikes, but yes, you do. Otherwise, you'll panic and it will go out of the window. So you're going to need that dedication. You're going to need to make sure you're there at least 3 to 4 times a week. And if you really want to get it in, 4 to 5 times a week. I mean, that's just what it is. If you got a job that works nights, see if they got some day classes, they got days, see if they got night classes, you're going to have to find the gym that fits you, okay? All right, now on to the third thing. You're going to have to get yourself in physical shape, okay? Getting in physical shape, sometime in the gym, yes, exercising and training every day will get you in shape. You'll end up losing some of the weight on you, but sometimes gyms don't have enough time because they have so many training classes, so much that they have to teach you to really emphasize on just physical shape. That's going to be a lot on you. You're going to have to go to the gym a lot of times on your own, exercise, diet right, things like that, because a lot of that dictates too what weight class you will be in. If you're a heavyweight because you're just heavy, that's a problem. You need to be a heavyweight because you're stronger, maybe a built bigger guy. You know what I mean? That is the reason why you're a heavyweight. If it's because you don't like to get off the couch or you eat whatever, that could be a problem because your weight could affect your cardio, which could affect your overall ability to fight. You know what I'm saying? You don't want that issue. You don't want to be in the middle of the ring sucking air. You want to be a heavyweight because you chose, because you're in just that maybe that much more muscular, that more stronger. If you're a lightweight, you don't want to be a lightweight guy because you're just skinny. You got a high metabolism or whatever. You're young, so you're just skinny. That's not going to matter when you got a guy that is 155 that actually is 185, but he's in such great shape. He cuts down to 155, and now he's at like 1-2% muscle, body fat or whatever, come fight day. And this guy is like super strong, ragdolling you around. His hits are hitting like thunder, and you're just a skinny guy. So you got to get yourself in shape, okay? And that's going to really depend upon you. There's a lot to this fight game. I know people thought, man, it should be just so much more easier, but it really isn't. These people that make it to the big time, they eat, sleep, and dream it. Man, they breathe it. They're all about it. You know what I mean? And you got to be all about it if you want to have that type of career. Okay. Now, you want to know your goals, I will say, big time in this thing. How long do you think you want to train before you get ready to fight? I'm going to tell you, a lot of coaches don't like this, but in my opinion, after about a year of training, you should be able to take your first fight. Especially if like I said before, you're dedicated and you've been here and you've been trained as much as you can. After 1 year, you should be out ready to take your first fight. I would say if you're trying to get in there and fight within 2 months, 3 months, even if you're very dedicated, you might be rushing a little more. So set your goals realistically. Give yourself at least a year before you start pressuring your coach or you start hitting up the promoters. Because let me tell you, this is the game of fighting, man. It's vicious. What will happen is a lot of these promoters, a lot of people that slick mouthed, they'll tell you, get in there with this guy. It don't matter. He's 12-0 and you're 0-0. It don't mean nothing. You can beat him. Test trial by fire. That's stupid because the 12-0 guy has got you in there for a reason because he knows with experience. You know what I mean? He's put in the time. He's put in the work. He's put in the effort. He knows you're going to be nervous. And he's trying to pad his record. You are nobody's fluff or whatever. You're nobody's fight to help them pad their record. Nope, not you. Get your experience, get your time in. So when you do get your first fight, if you're an 0-0 guy, fight you an 0-0 guy. Fight you a 1-0 guy. Fight you an 0-1 guy. Fight a guy with 0-2 or 2-0 at the most. That is the like progress yourself through this at the appropriate rate. Don't let no promoters or trainers or anybody feed you to the wolves because sometimes even your own coach, man, I hate to say it, he cool with other people at the other gym and he's just like, yo, Sean needs to kind of get his comeuppance in the world. He needs a fight. And unfortunately, they done kind of threw you in there. I mean, it ain't right, but it happens. You know what I'm saying? Lastly, I'm going to tell you guys, don't fight amateur forever. This is another thing that's not very popular. I would say especially if you have a winning record, if you have 5 to 6 fights in and you have not lost, you need to be looking to go to pro. If you've kind of struggled, maybe a little bit longer, but no more than 10 amateur fights. Period. Because I'm going to be honest with you, this sport takes time and effort, and it takes away from families a lot. A lot of these old school guys, they can tell me that they did this, and that, but I know back in the day, especially from MMA, because I've been around since that long, there wasn't very many amateur MMA events as there is now. Amateur, they know they can get you in there. They ain't got to pay you to fight because you're an amateur. These guys were getting paid something to fight. You know what I mean? You got a wife, you got a kid, you going for hours every day. They don't mind the sacrifice when they can see something coming from it. But when there ain't nothing coming from it, it can weigh down on your family, and it can also weigh down on your body because an amateur fight is still a fight, guys. You're still going to get punched. You're still going to get kicked, submitted, whatever have you. You got a lot that you go through, win or lose, it's a lot on the body, and I've seen some really great guys that I thought would be amazing pro fighters that they just stuck in the amateur so long, and now they got injuries that give them buttons or major weaknesses by the time they get ready to go pro. So I'm telling you, if you have that winning record, if you're 5 fights to 7 fights in and you ain't lost, go pro. Don't if your coach keep trying to hold you back, man, you better have a great reason because otherwise, I don't know, man. I think, he ain't thinking straight. That's just my opinion. Go pro. You know what I'm saying? If you kind of struggled a little bit, 10 fights, after 10 fights, you should be able to tell realistically. If you 10 fights in, right, and your record is, let's say, 7 losses with 3 wins, maybe this isn't for you. You know what I'm saying? Because you are now beginning to make this a longer amateur career. You can keep fighting amateur if you want. See if it twists for you, turn around. I ain't telling nobody to give up, but that's something you should really consider. You know what I'm saying? But if you 7 wins but only 3 losses instead of the other way around, instead of 3 wins with 7 losses, you did more winning than you did losing by far, man. Go pro. Don't get heel hooked and have something wrong with you. Don't get your order bone smashed and have something wrong with you. Don't have, shoulder injuries, all this kind of stuff, and you never set foot in the pro ring. You never got paid $1 and a dime because your coach or somebody told you you need to stay amateur, and now your pro career is actually in jeopardy because this fool wanted to hold you back forever. All right, well, that's it. That's just my opinions. That's what I think it takes to make you a fighter. If you have any other questions, please drop them down in the comments below. If you could continue to comment, like, subscribe, all that, guys, I greatly appreciate it. This is your boy, Motor MMA, a.k.a. Jason Boss, saying I'm going to go hit the bags. I'm going to go get some gym time in. Who knows, guys? I'm not in shape yet, but who knows, guys? One day, you know what I'm saying? There's a part of me that says I got 3 more in me. And we'll see what happens. All right. This is your boy Moto MMA, aka Jason Boss, saying thank you guys so very much for watching. Peace.